My name is Frederick Angenda. I'm the founder and managing director at Baye Africa, which is an acronym for Business Acceleration for Young Entrepreneurs. We are an entrepreneurship support organization working and focusing in the agri-food sector, where we work with women and youth-led enterprises to be able to scale the business and initiate livelihood opportunities, options for the future for wealth creation. And welcome to Meet the HR.
Amazing, 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 guys. This show is about to get very, very informative. So make sure whatever it is that you're doing, leave it for now so that you can follow through with this conversation. Remember, we've been talking about in the past week we looked at someone who had started an SME despite the fact that her career journey didn't work out. And with us today, we have Mr. Frederick, who runs an organization that deals with helping agribusiness SMEs, and it's dealing with the young people, the youth. So make sure you tag along with this conversation so that you can learn more, understand what it is they do, and if you are back at home and you're thinking of starting an agribusiness and you need some insight, this is the episode for you. So let's get started. So Mr. Frederick, let's start from the top. Where did the idea to start Baye Africa start from?
Thank you, Sylvia. Having been an experienced and an expert in the agri-food sector, I've been in the space for this is my 16th year. 16. Yes. Wow, that's a long time. Of which 10 years I engaged in active employment, particularly in the non-governmental organization space. But back in 2018, the level of satisfaction that I was getting on the job was slowly dwindling because of the kind of impact I wanted to realize, and also looking at some of the challenges the entrepreneurs within the agri-food space were still experiencing. And in 2019 was the birth of Baye Africa. With a view of trying to bring transformation in the agri-food space and also embracing the element of entrepreneurship and also self-reliance and depending on, because previously the regime had been that relief kind of approach towards supporting livelihood opportunities as opposed to entrepreneurial element. So that is what prompted me to think about having an entity that would adequately support growth of SMEs in the agri-food sector. Yes.
Wow, that is beautiful. And the work that you are doing is amazing, because right now we need to stop depending on relief, because yesterday, government this, government that. We need to learn as young people how to be independent and actually support ourselves. So what are the objectives of Baye Africa?
I would want to speak about our mission, which is basically we offer expertly tailored agribusiness advisory services through a blended experiential approach. This is where we bring in the actual experience that the team we have has, and also building on the experience of the entrepreneur to be able to fulfill the business goal that they have. So for us is to bring in a blend and provide the mentorship and the coaching and also the technical elements of building and growing a business. So basically that is what we do on a day-to-day basis. Yes.
And you've talked about field work. As we were coming in, we had a colleague of yours who was going to the field to do work. So what is it that you do specifically here at Baye Africa? How do you support this SMEs, and how does it happen?
Well, what we normally do as part of our program is we normally have short programs that runs between 6 months to 8 months, where we place call for applications for individuals who have interest in scaling their business. From time to time, we focus on particular value chains. Like previously, we were focusing on entrepreneurs who are in the poultry value chain, apiculture, those who are in green business or recycling business, and of course the use of agricultural waste to provide alternative products. So, and of course some of our projects focus on a geographical region. Like right now we are active in the Western Kenya region, and that's the reason why we are all here. So what normally happens is that we onboard entrepreneurs or individuals who have a business idea. So we hone the business idea, then we bring in innovation and come up with prototypes. The prototypes, we go into the market, we test the market, we get feedbacks and continue to improve on the product, and eventually we go on a commercialization phase where now, say, some of the products would be like, for example, you can see some of the products that have been displayed there, that those that are doing jam, those who are doing packaging juices, those are doing peanut butter, those are processing honey. So we normally take them through the entire process of product development, and that's why we have to be out there in the field at the premise of the entrepreneur, so that we don't engage on phone calls or provide advisory on phone calls, but rather we are on site where the enterprise is, and we move and we monitor and support on a day-to-day running of the business, and also with a view of building the capacity of the entrepreneur with regards to their understanding and also the skills that is required to be able to scale the particular businesses. Yes.
So they have to send in the applications for them to be approved, for them to go through the program.
Yes.
Of being trained.
Yes. So apart from sending out the expression of interest to be part of the program, if you are onboarded, we have an agreement that outlines the role that is expected to be delivered by the entrepreneur and also to be delivered by the Baye team. Yes, so it becomes a very clear arrangement of where do we begin and where do we end in terms of the support provision. But interestingly, over the years, we've also been keen on building a community where all the entrepreneurs who have gone through our programs, we do not exit them into our engagement. We have a community of where they also still continue to interact, get more information, and also engage on peer-to-peer cross-learning, because if someone has an issue, they just post it on the the WhatsApp group, where currently we have around 363 enterprises that have come together. But part of the membership there also are other partners who also get opportunities and they want to share. So we provide that platform for sharing. Yeah.
Wow, that is really, really amazing. And since you're dealing with agribusiness and you deal with so many young people, there's this notion that's out there that young people don't like getting dirty. They don't like getting their hands dirty. And you know, when you're dealing with agribusiness, you have to make sure that you are hands-on. So you have to deal with all that. Is that true? Is it true that young people don't like getting their hands dirty, from your experience as Baye Africa working with young people?
I think there is a remarkable shift in terms of how the youth are viewing agribusiness. And I think this has been realized due to emergence of technology. I want to pick, for example, the rearing of worms for purposes of incorporating or providing alternative feeding. That is basically vermiculture. And through that, you realize that there are very interesting innovations that are coming up that not necessarily are linked with that. But at the end of the day, when you get your check and you go to deposit it into the bank, nobody would want to ask you, where did you get this? And of course, the challenges that we are experiencing out there with the young people is the livelihood opportunities. So if there is livelihood opportunities, they are always willing to go an extra mile to, at least make a difference in terms of having something that you've actually worked for. So the only disadvantage is that many of them are not patient, because some of building a business requires a lot of patience, consistency, and also hard work, because for you to be an entrepreneur, you have an option of either going to work for someone else for 40 hours, but you can work on yourself for 100 hours in a week. As an entrepreneur.
So you have to put in more.
More, yes, as opposed to going to someone else's office to sit and, you know, you'd choose to be on social media, do the chatting, but on the side, you can decide as well to run your own race, face the challenges, keep pushing yourself. Of course, the challenges are enormous, especially with building an enterprise, because you're creating an empire, and there's a lot that goes into it. So not all of them has the tenacity and the patience and the energy to keep going, but we keep on encouraging them. So how we are doing this is by providing linkage to the young people, other young people who have managed to surmount and succeed in the different value chains. So they are also become as mentors. In most of our program, we engage the mentors who are individuals who have successfully built startups and have scaled. So that those who have the aspirations of building their own businesses, they're able to, you know, borrow, learn, also identify, get to share an experience of areas where the successful entrepreneurs had challenges, where they had failed, and how they managed their failures, and also be able to, you know, inspire others to grow. Yes.
The inspiration is important. If you meet someone who has been there and you haven't been there, and they give you the experience and the journey of how it is, you'll feel more encouraged to also get to that point. Wow, amazing. And now, as we walked in here, I saw some bit of branding and there was something on sustainable development goals, the SDGs.
Yes.
So can you walk us through the SDGs that you focus on while working as Baye Africa?
Okay. When we look at the Maslow hierarchy of needs, for example, there's where the bare minimum, and that is about having the ability to be able to get access to basic need, and because that is what defines the levels of poverty. So we are focusing on SDG number 1, which is ending poverty, where we are engaging women and youth to be able to, you know, get livelihood opportunities, basically through agricultural production practices, processing, distribution, and all the activities that are involved within the agribusiness value chains, so that they create businesses for themselves and also for others, and that gives them a livelihood opportunities. So if, say we have one high impact enterprise that is doing processing and is sourcing raw materials from 100 farmers, then that provides a livelihood opportunity for the farmers, and they're able to scale. The other bit is on food security and ending hunger. So when we are able to produce sufficient food through different innovations and technologies, adoption of the relevant technologies, we are able to be efficient in production. We are able to maximize on the outputs, and therefore contributing enough for the growing population with regards to access to food, which is very, very important. The other bit is SDG number 8, which is about job creation. So we are looking at scaling enterprises to be able to provide alternative livelihoods and also create decent jobs for the young people. So we are looking at engaging women and youth-led enterprises to push them to scale the enterprises. So once the enterprise is able to scale, maybe we look at increased outputs or having multiple outlets. For example, this will provide an opportunity for people to get jobs, and not just jobs. We are looking at full-time equivalent and also being able to get decent wages. Because when we are engaging with these enterprises in most of our programs, we emphasize the need to be able to provide work and also try to observe the government regulations with regards to what is it that they are expected to comply. On SDG number 9, we are looking at adoption of technology in the agri-food sector, in the agri-food space. There are very interesting technologies that exist out there. And even the youth, some of the graduates who are being churned out from the learning institutions have very noble, innovative ideas. And some of these innovative ideas, we infuse them into the agri-food sector, because we have different value chain activities, right from production, post-harvest handling, we have processing, we have distribution, so quite a number. And believe you me, there is no day that anyone would want to go without food. And of course, for you to be able to access that food, there's a lot of activities that goes into it. Right now, we have doorstep deliveries. There's a lot that goes into it. That is innovation. So adoption of innovation is very, very crucial. And then we have SDG number 12 and SDG number 13. So SDG number 12, we are looking at responsible consumption and also minimizing of waste. If you go to a market setup, especially during the times where there is surplus production, you'd be amazed at the kind of wastage that goes on there. We have a lot of fresh produce that goes into waste, one because of poor handling or poor harvesting activities, or lack of preparedness in the end of the entrepreneur to be able to add value into this component. And finally, on SDG number 13, we are looking at climate action. Most of the agriculture space produce a lot of wastes. And this waste, if not well managed, contributes to the depletion of the ozone layer and therefore creation of global warming. And we are looking at green business models. So say, for example, if you are in dairy, for example, how do you manage wastes from the dairy units? Do you have an opportunity to do biogas? If you are high-end producer of eggs, what do you do with the broken eggs? Where do you dispose it? How are you responsible for the wastes that you also create? So we are looking at business models. So the business models, we are ensuring that for those entrepreneurs that we work with, when we support them to develop the business strategies and the business models, we incorporate an element that ensures that there's very minimal waste, because even the waste provides an option to generate revenue. So we maximize on revenue generation. So that is the 6 SDGs that we focus in and contribute to, both directly and indirectly at Baye Africa.
Now, Mr. Frederick, what components do you have that help young people out there who are having a hard time, maybe trying to start something, a small SME on their own? What components do you have for that?
Yeah, thank you, Sylvia. I think our focus right now is trying to promote off-campus and on-campus innovation, and have a blend in where we have graduates who are coming out of our learning institutions, particularly Masinde Muliro University, and some of the innovations that they have come up with within the learning institutions and the technologies, we try to find a blend and gaps within the existing enterprises that we work with, and try and match the gap that exists in the enterprise. So when we match the graduates with the enterprise, we have two objectives. One is to support the enterprise to overcome the challenges that they experience or the shortcomings that they have, but also give the young graduates an opportunity to match the knowledge learned and the actual experience on the field. And this is we are doing under the Baye Fellowship, where we have a pool of enterprises that we still engage with, and of course those have gone through the incubation or the acceleration program. Now this one we engage them as post-incubation or acceleration support. So in Baye we have a component called the Enterprise Development Unit, dubbed the EDU. So the EDU is basically where we are doing de-risking. For now, the actual commercialization phase. Now, these are enterprises that are investor ready. So you realize that in the different components, because as an entrepreneur, you cannot be an all-rounder. You have to have certain areas where you still have challenges and you need to address them. So the way that we are helping them sort out these challenges is bringing in people with knowledge and skills and expertise. But now the entrepreneur having the experience, we are able to, guide the fresh graduates and co-create between the entrepreneur and the fresh graduate, with a view that over time the entrepreneur and the graduate shall have shared knowledge, experience and skills to give the fresh graduates, of course, an opportunity to try their hands on something different, maybe on their own, or still continue working within the same environment. Yes.
Wow. Yeah. Wow, that is amazing. And as Baye Africa, what are some of the challenges that you have faced while working on your missions and visions as an organization?
Just like any other startup, Baye Africa, as I've said, is an entrepreneurship support organization, which is also a startup. Yeah. So as a startup, we also have challenges with regards to what we experience growing and scaling the entity. Yeah. Most commonly is about cash flow management, because you have a team, you have staffs, you have to pay salaries, you have to maintain the office, you have the office utilities, you have to pay the CEO, you have to pay the managers and all that. So cash flow management is one of the biggest challenges that we've experienced. But we've tried to manage by getting alternative revenue streams. Like we have two products that we are soon launching out into the market. One, we have an SME record keeping tool, which is going to support the entrepreneurs to be able to do their record keeping adequately just by chatting on WhatsApp. Wow. And that is an innovation that would be exciting for people to continue, embracing the element of record keeping as a way of preparing their own data that would be able to use when they are now sourcing to track their traction and business performance. Two, we have the Mazao DigiMarket, which is a marketplace where we'll open it for entrepreneurs to be able to showcase their products and also provide market linkage. And you'd also be able to access this platform through subscription. And that would also provide as an alternative revenue stream. Other than that, we are doing consultancy services to be able to manage our cash flow. The biggest challenge we had was in 2022, I think, 2023, after the elections, where it pushed us to move into a new office space. The building where we were housed by a number of other enterprises, but one enterprise or one client happened to have political affiliation, or rather I would say a political party. And it was targeted. So when it was targeted, and all the other organization and the offices within the premise also became victims, because now that one gave us negative publicity. And when rowdiness and violence comes, no one else is spared. So during that time, our office was broken into, and we suffered a very huge loss to a tune of 2.1 million. Wow. And it was a very big drawback in terms of our drive, our focus in supporting the enterprises. So that is what prompted us to move into this new location, which we consider is a little bit more central. And we still owed our service offering to our clients despite the challenges. So the drawbacks, yes, are there. And mitigation and doing risk assessment is a very crucial element for any business to thrive. You have to do a thorough risk assessment and risk mapping and be able to provide mitigating measures to be able to manage the risks. And I think for us, we did not do it quite well back then. But I would want to encourage aspiring entrepreneurs that always try to focus on the critical success factors that you have as a business, all that you need that are within your control, but don't make the critical success factor of your enterprise be an external issue that you cannot deal with. So make sure that all you've analyzed your enterprise and understood the critical success factors. So in a situation where a critical success factor is managed and is bound to be manipulated externally, you have to have a risk mitigation measure in place to be able to move or to act when the time is right. Yes, it's very, very important. Yes.
And what would you say is the future for Baye Africa in supporting the young people?
Looking into the future gives me, brings a smile into my face because we are barely quarter way of what we are envisioning to achieve. Because currently we have a team of 10 business coaches who are out in the field. And we are looking at being able to scale and being able to reach many, many more enterprises. Because right now we are working with around 50 enterprises. And the 5, each out of the 10, each business coach is working with 5 enterprises. So we have reduced the number to ensure that we have efficiency and maximum impact into those enterprises. If we would have an opportunity to scale and have a team of, say, 100, that means we'll be able to impact more and more people. All we need is to be able to harness our own resources to be able to, sustain our operation as an entity. But we are also open to partnerships with like-minded organizations, entities, and governments to be able to push the Baye agenda. Yes.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Now, unfortunately, guys, we are coming to the end of the show, but I hope you have learned something. I hope you've gotten the insight that you need. And so what word of advice, Mr. Frederick, would you give to young people out there who are maybe looking forward to finishing school and getting into their careers, and it might not, or maybe it has not worked out for them yet? So what would you tell them about what Baye does, and how can they get their footing despite the issue of job scarcity that's there in Kenya, using this camera right here?
Thank you very much, Sylvia. To the young people out there, the most important bit is self-discovery and self-awareness. Know who you are, know what you want to achieve. With an understanding of who you are and what you want to achieve, gives you the desire to push yourself towards that particular direction. And for those who want to join us in the entrepreneurial world, consistency, persistence, and patience. It's never achieved in a day or in the snap of a finger. It takes a lot of work. Be ready to work, and be ready to learn. Thank you very much.
Amazing. Be ready to work and be ready to learn. So that has been it here at Meet the HR, and we have learned so much from Baye Africa. And as young people out there, I think you now know what you need to do. Okay, don't sit at home, don't sit still saying that there's a job scarcity issue. with whatever it is that you have, you can get into agribusiness. There's so many other sectors that you can get into. Just don't sit still there. And remember, at Meet the HR, we say that there's no luck in career, but it's when opportunity meets preparation. Preparation requires a lot of consistency. It requires a lot of hard work. So do that, and I will see you in the job market. My name is Sylvia Wanja. Enjoy the rest of your viewing. Bye-bye.